And friends, according to the information which is coming out now, and what makes it much worse, is that Israel may have used Prime Minister Modi's visit as a cover to delay their strike. That is, Axios reports that about a week's delay was put into the attack because they were not finding the right weather and target. Possibly they were still searching for Khamenei's whereabouts. And they used Prime Minister Modi's visit as a way to cover up this 1 week gap. Friends, you must have seen in the news that Prime Minister Modi visited Israel and on 25th and 26th February, that is just 2 days before the attack on Iran. And he embraced Netanyahu and was feted all over Israel. Now, I believe this was a big loss to India. And I'll explain why in several aspects. First of all, India carries a lot of prestige in the international market of nations. Firstly, India carries prestige in the international marketplace of nations, both as a large nation, secondly, as a leader of the global south as it was in the past. Therefore, it is being sold by Netanyahu at home that this is a big achievement. Why? Because Netanyahu is considered a war criminal internationally. In most parts of the world, he would be arrested if he traveled. I'm not talking about the United States, leave that out. And Israel itself is isolated in the International Committee of Nations because of the genocide in Palestine. So he's selling this as his rehabilitation. That is, Prime Minister Modi, the leader of India, is embracing him, is feting him and visiting him at home. Also, the leader of such a large nation such as India is visiting Israel. The Israelis are overjoyed, and it is being projected as a victory for Netanyahu and for Israel. And for Netanyahu, this is important because he's up for elections, probably in June or July this year. So he is also selling it from a political electoral angle. But remember, credibility is a fungible commodity. That is, it is like capital, money. If you embrace somebody, you transfer your credibility and reduce your own credibility. That is, India's credibility has suffered due to embracing a war criminal, because of embracing a pariah nation. They have gained, we have lost. If you don't believe me, just listen to this Israeli expert who was the head of their foreign ministry at one point. He's talking in Al Jazeera.
Huge achievement for Netanyahu. Israel had 2 very, very difficult years in the international arena. Netanyahu himself can hardly travel abroad. And here the Prime Minister of India is coming with enthusiasm for the Israeli people to see a visit of a Prime Minister of a very important country with a positive momentum in its economy, not affected at all, at least so far, by the Gaza war or the West Bank event, is a kind of a glimpse of hope. I mean, our relations with the whole world, maybe except the United States of Trump, were badly affected, largely affected by the events of the last 2 years, especially Gaza, but recently also West Bank. And here comes the Prime Minister and is paying a normal official visit with the whole protocol, with economics, with security, and even a very strong political regional dimensions. So for the Israelis, it's kind of fresh air after being almost isolated in the last 2 years.
Now, people will say, no, we had to do this because Israel is such a big arms supplier and we are going to benefit from all the arms that's going to give us, which we can potentially use against Pakistan and China, etc. Well, let me tell you, Israel would have to anyway sell us those arms. We are anyway Israel's largest weapons importer. If you look at the data from 2020 to 2024, we constitute over 1/3 of Israel's total sales. Have you ever heard of a customer who begs the salesman? It is the other way around. It's the salesmen who are supposed to beg the customers to buy their stuff. So there was no need to do this. And even if you go back in history, prime ministers from Nehru to Vajpayee to Manmohan Singh, they have all benefited from Israeli weapons without sacrificing their relationship with the Arab world. Nehru got arms after 1962 war. Yes, that Nehru who you think was a Congress lefty Muslim lover. I'm telling you, Indira Gandhi after the 71 war, she got weapons. Narasimha Rao got weapons while maintaining good relations with Palestinians and the Arab world. Vajpayee got those same weapons. India has been importing very highly sophisticated sensors, electronic warfare, missiles from Israel throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Manmohan Singh continued that. Now, when the Indian Prime Minister is seen embracing the Israeli Prime Minister 2 days before the attack on Iran, standing in the Knesset, this sends out a very bad message to the rest of the Arab world as well as to the global South. You know, who are the countries who are standing with Israel? Just a few pariah nations themselves, isolated ones like UAE, which is itself supporting a genocide in Sudan conducted by the RPF. It was kind of neutral on the genocide in Gaza and was standing beside Israel. So we shouldn't be counted in that group. Netanyahu is trying to pull us into that group. This is why that Hexagon Alliance, etc., where he's saying India will participate in it along with Israel and Greece and Cyprus. We don't need to multiply our enemies. We already have enough, Pakistan, China, etc. So if this policy does not make sense on a cost-benefit analysis, why is it being done? Well, it's being done purely due to an ideological reason, because the founders of Hindutva and the followers now, and believe me, I don't think Hindutva has much to do with Hinduism, believe that they have an ideological affinity to Israel, that Israel is also some Muslim-hating nation. And this has generally resulted in a problem in our foreign policy. That is, our foreign policy was above Hindu, Muslim, Sikh. Whatever may be the divisions at home, these were not reflected in our foreign policy. This was a policy of every Indian government. We would, of course, be closer to the secular countries, whether it was Iraq or Bangladesh or the PLO of Yasser Arafat. But what we are now seeing is the opposite of it. Even with respect to our Bangladesh policy, it has been made a victim of our internal Hindu-Muslim agenda of the BJP. That is, BJP's electoral agenda requires a division, as I've explained in my past videos. And because of this, we have created an enmity with Bangladesh for no reason. Bangladesh is still a very secular society compared to any other in the developing world. Several other countries also have been made enemies by this process of the Godi media, whether it's Maldives or Turkey. We don't need to multiply our enemies. And now we are becoming friends with a pariah state like Israel. And this is reflected in the fact that throughout the genocide in Gaza, we were exporting weapons to them. If you don't believe me, you can Google it. And this sad policy has been further affirmed. That is, on the assassination of Khamenei, forget condemning the US and Israel. Maybe we can't do that. I don't think we should be stopped from that. In the past, we have done it. We have condemned the invasion of Iraq, etc. But maybe we can't do it anymore. But we could have at least expressed our condolences, because of two reasons. The BJP claims it's close to the Shiites and it wants the votes of the Shiites. Well, for the Shiites, Khamenei was not just a political leader, he was a religious leader. He was the representative of the Ghaib Imam, the disappeared Imam, and he's his representative on earth. So on his death, it's an emotional issue. It's a religious, it's an ideological issue. It's not just a political issue. And just a line of condolence to Iran, a country which stood by us, which sold us very cheap oil. It covered the cost of transportation and insurance also. We rejected that under American-Israeli pressure. Even the Chabahar port, in which we had invested millions of dollars, we left that also on the insistence of the United States. Now, we show our solidarity with Israel by visiting and embracing them 2 days before the attack. And we don't even express our condolences on this kind of brutal assassination. In fact, we should have been trying to dissuade Netanyahu and Trump from attacking? Because it has cost us a great deal. How? Well, in three ways. Firstly, India imports 80% of its oil, and most of it comes from this region of the Persian Gulf. And it doesn't matter where we import our oil from. Oil is a fungible commodity. That is, its supply and its demand is decided at the global level. All the supply of the world and all the demand of the world is estimated to be at a global level, and that's how the price is set. That means even if a country is self-sufficient to some extent, like the United States, the price of oil would go up there also, because the price is set at a global level, not at a regional level. 80% of our oil is imported, forms such an important part of our balance of payments. If the price goes up, our rupee value will fall, because we'll have to pay more dollars for the same oil. This will import inflation into the country. Price level will rise, stock market will fall, it'll affect the real estate market. But even more than that, something more important, 9 million Indians work in the Gulf. Their physical security and well-being is in threat. And their remittances to India will reduce. That is, India's balance of payment is always usually in deficit due to our trade deficit in goods and services. Remittances makes up for that deficit. That is the money that these workers send make up for that. If it falls, again the balance of payments will weaken. We will have to again purchase dollars at a higher rate and the rupee value will fall. This will further increase inflation, decline in our stock market, and maybe even send India into a slight recession. So for us, it was a big loss, this attack, and we should have been trying to prevent it. On the contrary, even 2 days before the attack, it seemed like we were cheering it on. And we have expressed no urgency to stop this attack on Iran or express our condolences. So friends, I thought it was my duty to bring this deleterious and damaging foreign policy to your attention. I'll keep doing so as long as I'm free to do so. I look forward to your support. We don't have enough subscribers, so please share any of my shorts or videos that you like among your friends. Please subscribe, spread the word, increase our viewership, because a lot of money and effort goes into each video. So keep watching, keep supporting, and until next time, Jai Hind.